December in New York City, you're bound to see something very special. Well, not just that. You can see Jingle Ball. Jingle Ball is a pop concert extravaganza that we have every year at Madison Square Garden. And they've even turned it into a tour, and I've done the tour. I've done a lot of Jingle Balls over the years, but the first one for me was the most special. It was in 1997 in Madison Square Garden. I had 5 mixing consoles on the side of the stage. I was hired in to be the monitor mixer, and I was thrilled because one of the groups playing was Aerosmith. Now, growing up, I was a big Aerosmith fan. I had the posters, I had the belt buckles, I had the shirt. I went and I saw them 11 times growing up, so I was a huge fan, and to be working with them even one time, I was thrilled to be there. Now, one of the things that was interesting about the day was the crew chief that we had with the audio company. He had a lot of interesting ideas about how to do the audio system there. And we had one stage on one side of the room, one stage at the other side of the arena, and he had sound and PA speakers pointing every which direction. And when I look back at all the systems that I've hung for Jingle Ball over the years, and I look back at that system back then, I mean, my God, what a mess that was. I'm sure to this day you can stand on the floor of MSG and hear that show still bouncing around the rafters up somewhere. I mean, it was not pretty. But one of the things that we do in the audio business is we have a thing called a talkback. It means the person at front of house who's mixing the show for the audience has a microphone, and up on stage, someone like me at the monitor console turns it on all the speakers so we can hear what the guy's saying. It's how we get through the sound check, how we communicate. He's got a little speaker out there I talk to. He talks through all the speakers on the stage, and that's how we do it, right? So we got a lot of sound checks to get through. We got a lot of bands, and we're trying to get through the very first one. And we're ready for the first input for the first band, and we're waiting for him, to say one word, which is kick. It's the first thing that we do, the kick drum. When we hear the kick, the guy sitting behind the drum kit is going to hit the kick drum, boom, 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 and we're going to start the very first sound check. Well, we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and finally, through the sound system on stage, through the talkback, we hear, what is going on? I'm checking my console, I'm checking the patch. Keeps coming through. It's like, what is this? What it turns out is that back in the day, you may or may not know this, but we used to do a lot of the cocaine. Some people used to do more than others. Maybe I have or have not done some in the past. I really don't recall. But our front of house guy on that day had done a little too much of the cocaine. And one of the side effects was the clenched jaw. He was all clenched up. He was so clenched up, he was incapable of saying the word kick. It came out oh man, this is going to be the start of some day. Took 5 to 10 minutes to get through. By the time he went on to the next one, which was snare, which was coming out, we had to send somebody out there. It's like he could push the buttons, but someone else has to kind of talk. You know, I mean, you can imagine all these groups, and it was a tough day. You know, I felt really for the monitor guy for Hanson because he's got the drummer cussing him up and down, MFing him this way and that way. It's like, really? You're going to take that from a 9-year-old? You should go on stage and take his juice box away, you know? Oh man, it was just some day. But last Aerosmith played, they had their own monitor guy. They were fantastic. I was thrilled to see them, right up close and personal. Really a thrill of the lifetime for me. And then I mixed the last band, who was called the Wallflowers. And while I'm doing them, and we're about the last couple songs for them, some guy comes up behind me, taps me on the shoulder and says, "Hey man, do you mind if I hang out with you during their set?" I turn around, it's Joe Perry from Aerosmith. I'm like, Joe, you can hang with me anytime. Gave me a smile, gave me a hug. It was such a thrill. I was so thrilled with it, and it just made the rest of the day whatever after all that. You know, sometimes a gig can go sideways on you, have a horrible day, and one thing really pick you up and bring you back to what it's all about.